How you doing, YouTube? Matt with Massive Beer Reviews. Back to get another review. A little bit of anniversary beer time in the form of Vault Brewing's number 5. This is their 5th anniversary beer. This is all coming from memory. So if I screw up a little bit, you know me. Just kind of, I don't like to go in with as little information as possible in a beer, but I know a little bit about it, so take this. If I screw up a little bit, don't hate me. It is a 10% Imperial Stout, bourbon barrel aged partially. They did a bit of blending on it. And I believe there is vanilla, cocoa, and coffee in here. Maybe maple syrup. Maybe. We're going to find out, though. First things first. Thank you, Vault. They actually sent this off to me. Super appreciative. It's been a while since I did one of their beers. My radio show, I've had them on. I had Mark on from Vault on. Super cool place. At the time when I had them on the show, they were strictly whole hop brewer, no pellets or anything like that. I actually don't know if they still do that. I think they still do, but they've been really kind of killing it on the can front lately. They've been popping off a lot of stuff. When I did that interview, it was about almost 2 years ago. They were pretty much just growlers only. So they've been producing cans here and there. I've done some of their reviews, and I love the fucking can artwork. I like the black with the simple shit going on. It's been a while since I had one, so I kind of wanted to, the anniversary thing, just kind of do one and do it proper. So here we go. As far as what it says on the can, it just is a big V. It has dates on here. I don't know Roman numerals, so I assume this is this year, and that is 5 years ago. How about that? It's 10% alcohol by volume, 1 pint. That's it. Nothing else in the bottle. You have drink fresh, drink now. This was, let's see, happy birthday, 9/25/17. And today is 10/25/17, so a month old. And that'd be that. Label-wise, it's cool. The only other thing I noticed on here is the independent label. I've been seeing them pop up every now and then. Not a lot of people are doing them, but there's kind of a pattern to them. A pattern to this label I've been seeing. It's just an own theory of mine. I'm kind of letting it cultivate for a little bit, but I might do one of my little editorials on the whole independent craft logo thing and how it's being used lately, but we'll get there. Anyway, love the label. 10%. Mixed stoutiness. Let's see what this sucker has, man. Been doing that silent pour lately. I kind of dig that, so you might get more of that. Anyway, Pinky Finger. Malted malt ball color. Head maybe a bit north of that. Gravity-defying creaminess there. Probably can't see it on camera. And, super tight compact bubbles with a very, very dark beer underneath. So, does she look like a stout? I'd say so. See if we can get a nose on her. Doesn't come near being like a 10% kind of nose in there. But it comes out pretty fucking nice. Getting a nice dollop of coffee in there. Nothing too crazy, but a nice roast to it. The nose itself is pretty soft and rounded. The more you get into it, you get a little bit more roasty. I'm getting a roast from that coffee now. It's a bit more kind of dark roasty, a little bit more impactful, but I think I'm getting a decent amount of kind of bitterness, of roastiness from the actual malt, too. I don't think it's just a coffee thing. I think it's roast malt combined with the coffee. I mean, am I getting chocolate in there? Maybe. If there was no chocolate in it, would I still be getting chocolate? Probably. And it's ABV and stuff like that. You're probably getting chocolate vibes off it to begin with. I thought there might be maple syrup in there. I'm not getting much maple syrup, if there is anything of that in the nose. I am getting a sweetness beyond the malt, though. But it also is a barrel-aged blend, so that could be it, too. I'm not getting tons of spirit in there. If anything, it's that little bit of sweetness that I talked about, but I am getting a little bit of smokiness in there, too, so that could be a little bit of barrel char going on. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's like a soft kind of, it could be a little bit of spirit, but it could be a little maple syrup. It could be a little bit of vanilla. It could be a little bit of that kind of wood going on there. But what I am getting is a big coffee roasted stout, kind of like almost like a coffee Russian Imperial stout with definitely like a little bit of wood influence going on, but not a gigantic nose. It's robust and it's impactful, but the ABV doesn't show through. There's no heat to it, and it smells a little bit smaller than that 10%. That could be a good thing. Let's just dive in, see what she's got. Cheers. That's delicious. Wow, it's scary delicious, actually. There's so much beer in this that kind of makes me really fun. Makes me really fun. Makes this beer really fun. I know it's an odd thing to say. When you're talking about these bigger beers, more so barrel-aged beers, and this is where the blending comes in, sometimes the beer gets lost in here. It seems like a really nice kind of proportion between the non-barrel-aged beer and the beer, which that's the key when it comes to these beers. Anybody who throws a bunch of beer in a barrel and just kind of pumps bottles out of a barrel is just kind of odd. It happens every now and then, but usually blending is the key, and it tastes like a nice kind of blend here. But you usually don't see the kind of non-barrel aged and barrel aged blending thing. So I kind of excited with this because what you end up with. First thing I get, a nice mouthfeel. Not a huge, dense, thick mouthfeel, but I feel like this would be a much thinner mouthfeel if it was straight barrel. You can lose that in Imperial Stout sometime. I think that blending brought a little bit back, brought that mouthfeel a little bit back. The beer itself, is that kind of sweet. I don't know if it's a bourbon. I think it just might be it's just like more of a generic spirit. But if anything, I don't think it's like a bourbon. I think this is just a base whiskey or maybe some kind of other kind of whiskey. Or just maybe a second use barrel, to be honest with you. But the spirit isn't coming through crazy, but do you get spirit vibes from it? You don't get like dark, rich red cherry or anything like that. You just get more of this kind of slight spirit vibe with a little bit of kind of oak tannin to it, enough to kind of make it smack your palate a little bit. That might be a little bit of that kind of bittered roasted malt thing going on too, but it's not too big. There's a sweetness that kind of pushes all that behind, but it doesn't get too much in that barrel aged realm. It leaves a lot of beer behind. So I'm not saying it's blended with more base beer than barrel aged beer, but I like the kind of position at where the beer sits. It tastes like beer with a really nice barreling as opposed to a huge barrel-aged beer with a little bit of beer involved. You know, some people, when they go to Dunkin' Donuts, they get, let me get a coffee and be like, what do you want in it? And be like, 30 milks and 27 sugars and be like, dude, you're getting like this much coffee and this much milk. You know what I mean? That sometimes is how barrel-aged beers comes off. This tastes like a really nice beer with some barreling going on. Just like soft chocolate in there. So that's nice. I'm getting like a marshmallowy kind of vibe from it. A subtle kind of, not fluffy, but not vanilla. It's somewhere in between. So a little bit of like a not so sweet and marshmallow vibe to it. And that coffee is kind of floating throughout the whole thing. Yeah. Super tasty. Super drinkable. That 10% comes off nowhere in the beer. Really nice. Really well done stuff. Even that palate smacking could be a little bit of hops in there because I am getting a bitterness. The more I drink it, a decent amount of bitterness. So it could be, a little bit of those hops coming through. Really nice beer. Balanced, rounded. That's the thing. The roundness on this is really nice. It has enough impact to let you really know what you're drinking, but at the same time, there's a decent amount of roundness to it. So yeah, kudos to you guys. All coming through on the stout front. So yeah, let's talk about it. Is it one of the better barrel-aged stouts? I mean, kind of blended barrel-aged stout, but let's just go barrel-aged stouts I've had. I was like, yeah, definitely in the conversation. There's ones that I've had that are better than this for me over the past year. But this is definitely in the conversation. It's absolutely delicious. Gives me what I want. There's enough sweetness, enough bitterness. The beer is a showcase in here, which I can't hammer that home enough how awesome that is. And yeah, just a really tasty beer all around. Value and availability. I think they sold out when it came out. That was like 2 weeks ago. That's poop on me, you know. I didn't get the beers until last week or a couple days ago. Sorry. So, you know, sometimes, you know, I review stuff that you can't get. Now, can you get it? Secondary market exists. You know, you might be able to get it. You might actually still have some on tap at the brewery from time to time. So, taste that for what it's worth. But, you know, if I had beer, I'm going to review it. Value, I actually think I was $20, 4-pack. I forget. And if you like what way like this. It reminds me a lot of the Mexican chocolate stouts without the chilies and without the cinnamon. It comes off like that. And you'd be like, well, isn't that just a base stout? Sure, but not really. There's vibes to them, and that's the vibe I'm getting on here. The chocolate is soft, but it comes through. The coffee comes through. It's like a nice coffee stout, but it's kind of more outside of just a base coffee stout. Is it a spirit bringing more to it, maybe? Is it the kind of, you know, that coffee in there? I don't know. But I'm getting enough kind of pastry vibes from it. I'm getting enough kind of old school stout vibes. I'm getting enough kind of that barrel to kind of make this nice mixture of something that's interesting. So if you like barrel-aged beers, if you like big stouts, if you like blended beers, if you like beers, I know, you're like, wait, I'm watching this. Obviously, I love beers. If you like a beer to be the star of the show, especially with the adjunct laden word, when I say adjunct, I mean, you know, barrels or coffee or whatever, you still like the beer to be the star of the show, then you're going to love this beer. Because the beer is still the star of the show. And I know it sounds like a simple thing, but so many breweries lose that in the mix. And it's not lost here. So, you like that kind of beer? Pick some of this up. Try to get some. Ask some friends. I'm sure you can find some. Hopefully you can, because it's worth tracking down. So there we go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, didn't, anywhere in between, down there, words and stuff and things. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Untapped, Massive Beers, all 4 of those places. And yeah, another review in the books. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you're enjoying something as good as this right now. And hope to see you next time. Cheers.